everyone, welcome back to another Friday, another casual champion review. Saïx, Calyrex Kohari Cthulhu is the subject of today. This is my second game, or third game, technically playing this, because the first game, it went pretty well. What? Unfortunately, it only lasted like 15 minutes, so I got cut off, and then the second game I thought, maybe I'll just like play a second game and play out the rest of it. And using Pax Jax, because I do own that skin actually. And then it went on for like 35 minutes in an absolute slog, and it was awful. So I thought, screw it, we're re-recording the whole thing. Try it again. You know what is great though? Fan art section. Look at all those fellas. Look at all the Jaximuses. Some for a while ago actually. Some people gave me some Jax art quite a good while ago. This is just hold on to it till you get to Jax Casual Champion review. Well, here we are. It's great. The fishing. I'm going to talk a lot of praise about this character because I do really like him, and we'll get into why it really does suck how horrible of a reputation he has obtained over the years. It's terrible. But thank you, fellas. Fan art section is wonderful as always. Oh, right. I've talked about this character several times already, so let's get back into it again. So, Saïx Calyrex Kohari Cthulhu is his full name. There's some specific Shuriken classification for how their names are the way they are, but just know that at this point, he was known as Saïx instead of Jax. But he grew up in Acathia, not Acathia, as Malzahar pronounced it. And he's taught by his father the tyranny of Shurima. Oh my god, Gizmo's here. He was taught by the tyranny of Shurima that had conquered their once independent nation. Hi Gizmo, yes, I'm busy right now. The Kahari was their grand military, and the Mage King was their leader, and they were slain either by the Shuriken forces or they ended their own lives out of the loss of their Mage King. In spite of this, Jax dedicated himself to learning how to master every single weapon known to be available, and he became the Grand Master at Arms, which terrible game, by the way. That was awful. One day, though, an earthquake near Acathia revealed beneath the earth was a little bit of the void, and the Acathian elders believed that this could be the key to freeing Acathia from their Shuriken oppressors, and they were barely able to contain it. They used elemental fire stuck inside their brazier staves, which are just basically, I probably mispronounced it, but it's the lamp. It's it's what they call the lamps. Jax, being the weapon master that he is, knew, or I guess had the foresight that this would go horribly wrong. That he knew, as a master of all weapons, that using a weapon you don't understand is a very terrible thing, and is gonna know to regret that he didn't just kill those people right from the start to prevent this all from happening. So with full confidence that this new weapon will grant them their freedom, they prepare to fight back the Ascended once more. Oh, I should help my Yasuo. They crown a new Mage King, and the Kahari is rebuilt. Jax joins them. Oh. Wow, I can't believe Yasuo lived out of that. I spoke too soon. Brian! Come here, Brian! Oh. What? So the Shurima, along with their Ascended warriors, descend on Acathia, and they decide the time is now. We have to unleash the Void to fight back this threat, and unfortunately, it goes about as well as you expect. The Void consumes everything. All the life around it is just devoured in an instant. Ascended and Acathians alike, and the entire city is destroyed. Somehow Jax survives. I think he wasn't in the epicenter or something, like he was off grabbing the Mage King a coffee or something, but he's fine, and he finds one of the lamps laying there, the elemental fire keeping the little bit of the void at bay. So he picks up this last remnant of his homeland and decides to leave. He doesn't want to be near Acathia anymore. So he forsook his original name, Saïx, and became known only as Jax, which I feel like if you're trying to get rid of your old identity, just shortening your name is not like, oh man, I am forgoing the name of Nicholas. I shall now be known as Nick. Wow. No one will know. So Jax wandered the world, his long life extended by the power of this elemental fire, which we still don't know what species Jax is. People think he's a sand troll, or there's some other completely new species that lived in Acathia, but apparently they're very long-living creatures regardless. Hello, Brian. But it would explain why his skin is purple and he has the 3 fingers. I always thought it's because he was void corrupted, but apparently he isn't, because he wasn't even in the epicenter of the attack. He just He's just a purple creature with 3 fingers. So he wandered the world in shame, straying further from Acathia. Oh no. Oh, Brian. Don't you know that I can block your entire character with 1 move? The further he got from Acathia, though, the duller the flame in the lamp became, and knew that if he strayed too far, it might be extinguished forever, and he would lose this last light of Acathia. So, renewed with confidence, he figured he had a job to do. He had a job to finish. He has to go back and fight the Void, fight for Acathia one last time. But ever since he still has been traveling the world, I guess not far enough that the fire will go out, but still traveling the world, trying to find worthy adversaries, worthy opponents, the strongest warriors to join him to help fight back the Void. Not succeeding very well, though he did have that duel with Fiora. I don't know if that's canon yet or not, or drinking with Gragas, probably not canon anymore either. What is canon in LOR was him and all his drinking buddies. I like the idea that he couldn't find worthy enough warriors, but a guy with a soup can, a girl with a fishing rod, yeah, that's good. And that's kind of where he's been left off. So I guess we could talk about his design, which is something I have talked about many times before. Also, because of Season Rewind. Yasuo! I'll save you. Brian, get out of my way. And that's just the job done. So it's kind of an unpopular opinion at this point that a lot of people do like the LOR version of Jax a lot more than the League version. And I think that's mainly because, well, the LOR version is designed to look a lot cooler. He's got all these crazy bandages and gold ornaments everywhere. Like, this is a very decorated warrior. Oh, very decorated warrior. Whereas the League one looks a lot more like just a wandering nomad. He doesn't have any of these fancy ornaments. He looks a lot more humble, I guess. And for me, I kind of like that. I mentioned this in the Rewind, but I like the idea that a lot of the LOR designs pit champions at different points in time. So Udyr, for example, the Udyr version, we know that that is him at the middle point of his journey. That very, very old classic Udyr, that's him right at the start when he's still in Freljord. Then Spirit Blossom, no, Spirit Guard is him when he's in Ionia. LOR is as he's returned to the Freljord, and then current modern Udyr is him right now. I like to think that Jax, the version we have right now, is the modern version. This is him in his current story because Riot doesn't like having character stories end, and LOR will be that's when he's assembled his crew, they've helped him armor up, and he's ready to fight back the Void one last time. So I think it works better to have all these crazy ornaments there, whereas right now, he's just kind of plain. He's kind of lost his heritage in a way because he's lost himself. He's trying to discover himself again through these other worthy warriors and find his way back to Acathia. So I quite like it. I like the idea of the nomadic Jax. I think it works quite well. I think having the other Jax as a skin would be awesome, much like all the LOR designs. Like, I would love an LOR Udyr, for example, but as far as taking one or the other, I would be fine with each one. I just think both of them have their merits in their own way. I will say, though, for an ASU, goddamn, these auto attacks, everything feels so satisfying now. I have played a bit of Jax before this rework came out. I think I had Mastery 7 on him already. I had Mastery 7 on like a lot of champions, though. But hello, Brian. Oh. What? Brian, you dumb as hell. So I played a good amount of Jax before this rework came out, so I have very ample comparison between the two, and my god, I don't think you'll remember just how awful he looks. Old Jax was one of the worst looking character models in the entire game, and that's back. It's everything about it just looked so messy. The lamp especially, it had little patches of dirt and grass on it because it was just supposed to be him. Old Jax was just that back when the League of Legends was canon. It was just that he was unstoppable. Nobody could beat Jax because he was the Grand Master of Arms. He was a master with every single weapon imaginable. So to have a fair fight, they said, okay, you can't have an actual weapon. Just rip this lamp out of the ground. So I am very happy he did finally get his big update, which stinks that it had to happen the way that it does. At this point, it's all but confirmed that he was supposed to be the one getting the mystery VGU. It's no secret that a lot of the files for certain parts of him had .VGU, the whole fishing minigame. You ever think it was weird that they introduced this whole fishing minigame and didn't give him a new animation, when a lot of the time with these mid-scopes, these champions do get new animations to compensate for their new abilities? He didn't get anything. The ult animation, very stiff, it looks like it was very rushed. And the big factor for me is a lot of the time when these mid-scopes are announced, which we haven't had a new one since Nico, I think. I think Riot has given up on mid-scopes at this point. Usually when these mid-scopes have been announced, they are not revealed or released to the public for at least a good few months, usually. But with Jax, he popped up on PvE like 2 weeks later. It was shockingly fast how quickly this supposed mid-scope came out. And I think it's pretty apparent, especially after seeing that, well, we have a little bit of extra time to work on some updating Jax's visuals. Like, Jax has like 14 skins. The whole reason you said Mundo was going to take so long is because he has too many skins. But Jax is fine, I guess. It's very clear he was supposed to be the VGU, and to cut their losses, they had to split up his development. They didn't want to scrap everything that they had worked on for him. And I'm pretty sure it's mainly because Jax's rework was happening during the height of the COVID pandemic, so I imagine they probably lost a lot of their chief animators or character designers for skins and stuff, so they thought, oh, we'll just cut our losses and release the gameplay portion of his rework as a mid-scope and see how it goes. I guess on the topic of the mid-scope gameplay-wise, I do think it was successful. It didn't change a whole lot. I think really the only thing that changed was the ult. The fact that his ult is an activatable ability that does damage instead of just being a passive buff, which a lot of old champion ults were like that. So I'm not surprised that they tried to make it more proactive. To me, it doesn't make a huge difference gameplay-wise at all. He feels like the same old Jax he always has, which people forget Jax is one of the original 40. He's an old-ass champion, which I also find hilarious that for the rework, they kept this voice actor. Like, after 14 years, they brought him back. And I think people also forget that Jax and Draven are the same voice actor because, I mean, just if you listen to them side by side, Jax is just a deeper, less egomaniacal Draven. And I think he voices Vel'Koz as well. Oh, Brian. Why must we have this song and dance every 5 nanoseconds? To me, Jax has always been a character that's very satisfying to play. Even more so now with how good the sound design is. Like that chunky hit and the animations feel so smooth. It feels great to play now, but I despise playing against this character. He is definitely one of those characters that just is infuriating once they get ahead. They feel almost unstoppable, which I guess is similar to how his old lore was. Fighting Jax top lane, he's definitely up there like with Riven and Yone and all these obnoxious characters. They're just so impossible to deal with. These bruisery characters, man. The Bruiser class is an enigma of nightmare gameplay design that I just do not enjoy fighting at all. I suppose now we've gone on long enough, I can talk about the elephant in the room. A lot of people are very confused about this whole thing with Jax, is that Jax is called many horrible things, and he is called very often a pedophile. And a lot of people, I even discovered through the Season Rewind video, that people don't even know why that is. Why are you calling Jax this? Why is this a joke? Why is this a meme? And to put it simply, it's because a lot of high-level players who one-trick Jax, or at the very least main Jax, were outed as being pedophiles with evidence and left the community or all that stuff. Just being awful people, just kind of feed it into Jax himself. It's a thing that happens with League Champions. You know, when you think of Riven, you think of people who rage quit. It's just a thing that happens. As more players do a similar pattern on the same champion, that idea drip feeds into the character itself. So now people associate players who rage quit with Riven. It became the same thing with Jax, where now people associate top laners who are pedophiles with Jax, and they just say, well, Jax is one. And that really sucks, because I feel like out of every champion in League of Legends, he is one of the most undeserving characters in the game. Jax has a whole thing. Jaximus was a skin. For the people who don't know about Jaximus, it was a Make-A-Wish thing. That's why they have the whole voice line, "Here's to you, kid," because It's in memory of this kid whose favorite champion was Jax. It was so much so that they added that voice line to base Jax. Something goes along the lines of like, the toughest warrior I ever knew was a kid. Here's to you, champ. Like, Jax, in real life, Jax would be great with kids. I just know it, which is good because those things are Satan spawn. But Jax in lore is such a cool guy, such a chill person that just wants to help people. He's dealing with his own personal issues of loss and not being able to help his comrades and being guilty that he could have stopped this disaster from happening. But as far as personality, he's a chum. He's just a guy you'd want to hang out, have some drinks with. Oh, sorry, have a hard-boiled egg with. But he's just a guy that you'd like to be around. And it just sucks that he has obtained this reputation that he very clearly does not deserve to have. It sucks that this happened to such in actuality, in terms of lore, a nice character. And I get it. It's like, it's all meant in jokes. It's all meant in jest. Like, the whole thing with Yasuo being a bunch of crybabies or Teemo being Satan, that's, you know, you could argue it's on the same field there. Thing is, being called Satan for playing Teemo, that feels more like an actual comedy joke. Like, obviously nobody in this world is actually Satan. But calling someone a pedophile, that is a very disgusting thing to not only be, but be called. And it's not the fun kind of insult. You know, if someone calls me some, like, cringe hippie for playing Ivern or a parasite for playing Yuumi, to me that's funny. Being called a... No, I don't like it. I do not like it at all. As much as there can be humor to be found in it, I tried to incorporate some of that in the Season Rewind. At this point, I think the joke needs to die. I think it's just not... But by me saying that, I've probably just, you know, reverse psychology, made even more people think it's funny. On the topic of skins, Jax got a lot of pretty good glow-ups. Actually, half of his skins didn't change at all. Like, I think all the way up to Godstaff or even further were not changed in the slightest. There are some skins that got pretty big glow-ups. Vandal Jax got the absolute glow-up of the century. My god, it always seems to happen to the 520 skins for these reworks. Some of the 520 skins, like Crab God or Spectral Fiddlesticks, they get massive glow-ups for these reworks and are so much better than they used to be. Vandal Jax was just Jax but white. Even other ones like Nemesis Jax being changed into a Void Corrupted kind of what if. I know it's not exactly a lore skin. I don't even remember if it has a bio or not. But I like the idea that you could have this Void Jax without needing to have an actual canon Void Jax. Just a cool hypothetical. I love hypothetical lore skins, even if they're not canon. Look at you, old Suo. The funniest thing I find about big reworks, the funniest thing I find about big reworks like this, though, is that it makes the old legendaries feel worse by comparison. Like, I don't see anyone using Pulsefire Caitlyn after her ASU or Spirit Blossom Ahri, for example. And I think the new animations are just so meaty and satisfying for Jax now. I have no reason to go back to using Mecha Kingdoms, but that's just because it's two skins that have very recent animations. And this always happens when they make legendary skins for more recent champions, that it kind of clashes a bit. Usually these legendary skins work really well for champions with older animations, or at least old enough that they're not quite to the spicy high fidelity of really modern skins. So Yasuo legendaries will always look better than the original, even though Yasuo's animations aren't particularly outdated. On the whole, though, I think Jax was definitely a massive success. I am very fond of his new look, very fond of his voice lines again. Love that got the original voice actor back. Kept the pure spirit of who Jax is, exemplified it even more so. I think the only thing that's different... What are they... Oh, I forgot that I can do fishing. And now oh. Nice, 1 gold. It was worth it. I got 1 gold, you hacks. That's really fun. I love that they actually incorporate the fishing into his gameplay. On the whole, I am very pleased with the rework. A little sad that it turned out the way that it did, splitting it in half. It would have been a lot nicer if it actually came out as one complete package, but at least we got the full package in the end. All right, the game seems to be ending now, I think. Oh, wait. Oh my god. Nunu. Oh my god. Oh, wait. Oh, he actually hit Yasuo there. Did no damage because of the shield. Alright, thank you folks for stopping by this week's Casual Champion review. Next week we go to Jace from Arcane. I hate this guy. So I'll see you in the next one, fellas, alright?